Yeah, we're definitely a work in progress. Um, in some things, you can see some experience. Kev was just up here, him and TJ and Kyler. Of course, we're in the rotation last year, and Avery Benson. Then in any other moment or other possession, you'll see our inexperience. So, just like most teams around the country, we're kind of a work in progress. We're trying to get to know each other on the fly here. But I think the effort has been really good. If I had to describe the guys, they're very competitive. They play very hard. Most of our mistakes are not out of lack of effort. They're just out of lack of execution at this point.
In terms of Kevin, what have you seen from him? Just, I know a lot's been made about him finally having an off season to where he can be 100% and kind of go through everything. You mentioned he's been able to hit the weights a lot harder. Have you seen a difference in his game, or just him, I guess, during practices or scrimmages or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well documented how I feel about the situation. I mean, kind of amazing the level he was playing at in the Big 12 conference, major college basketball, uh, without having an off season. Last time he had an off season was between the junior and senior year, or that's not right. Between his sophomore and junior year of high school was the last time he had an off season up until this one. So he's just becoming more consistent, stronger, more experienced. Simply stated, he's healthy. He's a really talented player. Because of his injuries and because of the redshirt year, sometimes people forget he was a highly recruited player. He was our number one priority in that class, and it's just great to see him on the floor having fun, playing the game he loves, and being healthy.
All right, Leah.
Hey, Coach, y'all's game against LSU was announced today. Just kind of talk about what you see from their basketball program.
I have no idea. I got a lot of respect for their program, their players. They're well coached. But right now we're concentrating on ourselves, and we haven't played LSU, I think, since our first year here. It's a new coaching staff since then, so I'm not prepared to answer any questions about LSU other than, we have a lot of respect for all SEC programs.
Can you talk about how your schedule as of now is coming along? I know you said last time you were kind of close to maybe an announcement.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. We'd love to get it out to you guys and also the fans and season ticket holders and students as quick as we can. There's just a lot of moving parts right now. When they cut us from 31 games to 27, it's not just as simple as eliminating 4 games. There's a lot of factors that go into it. A lot of them are COVID based. So we're doing the best we can, putting together a schedule. Some things we do know. Obviously, you just mentioned the SEC Big 12 Challenge, a chance to play at LSU, a projected NCAA tournament team. That's great. That's great for us. We do know that we're going to play 2 Big 12 games pre-Christmas. As of today, that's the plan. And we know we can start the season on November 25th, and we're very hopeful that we can start the season on November 25th with a home game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Joe, do you have anything?
Coach, what about Clarence Nadolny and any improvement you're seeing from him, or what he needs to do to get on the court a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing improvement. It's just a process. Playing at this level is very, very, very difficult to do. We've had one and dones, lottery picks, really good players here, and I think it's easy to see the transition is difficult. It takes time. Each player has to run their own race. The thing with Clarence is no one's ever questioned his talent, his toughness, his competitiveness. He got some valuable minutes last year too, in and out of the rotation, but definitely had a great experience last year in terms of learning what this level is like. I was really impressed with his offseason, especially with the adversity of COVID. Gym was closed some days, open some days, weight room open, closed. We took breaks. Like, very, very difficult, especially for a young player, to focus in and have a great offseason. And that's what Clarence did. He got better. He's a much better player right now than he was when we left the Sprint Center in Kansas City a few months ago. In terms of helping this year's team, that's the goal. That's the hope. I think there's a role for Clarence when he plays at his best. But again, another young player in college basketball that certainly has a bright future, especially if he runs his own race.
All right, Nathan.
We didn't get a chance to ask you last week, but I wanted to get your thoughts on winter athletes getting another year of the same thing falls athletes and spring athletes last year are getting. Do you have any thoughts on those guys getting that extra year back, considering everything?
Yeah, I think it's a great decision. It's the right thing to do with all the uncertainty of our season. Certainly, if this thing goes as well as planned, which it could, I mean, the NBA executed it perfectly, right? Our plan is different than the NBA's, obviously, but the point is a plan can be executed, but there's no foreshadowing. We don't know that. So I think because of the uncertainty, to me, it was a smart, intelligent, kind of no-brainer decision to give the student athletes that year. I know I was very kind of happy for all the players in other sports that kind of got it before basketball. Makes a lot of sense. So above all, I think it's a common sense thing that's good for the players. And anything that's good for the players is good with me. I mean, the players are college basketball, in my opinion. It's not the coaches, not the programs of the leagues or even the NCAA. It's those players. And I think this was another common sense decision that's right by the players.
And you had kind of mentioned a couple of times over the last couple of months that weren't sure if Jamarius was going to play this year or not. Does this, that he has that extra year of eligibility, does that play into it at all?
Yeah, I think it definitely plays into it, no doubt about that. Still, a lot of that is on JB, and I don't want to speak for him. JB is a very mature, focused young man. It's one of those guys that kind of knows what he wants and knows what he's willing to do to get what he wants. He's a worker. So from the very first conversation in the recruiting process all the way up until last night, last time I talked to JB, I'll talk to him here in a few minutes. I don't want to speak for him. But obviously the new rule changes a lot of things around the country for all players. It'll be a unique year in college basketball. It'll be a year like no other. And I think this is the latest wrinkle to kind of throw in there. But this isn't the only thing that's going to make this season unique. I think we all know that.
Ryan?
Hey, Coach. Kevin McCullar is a guy who gives your team a lot of energy on the court. But as someone who's entering his third season with the program, what's his voice and leadership like in the locker room?
Yeah, it's really improved. I mean, Kev's been here. You know, he had the spring semester of the Big 12 championship team, got the valuable experience of being around those guys, watching, learning, being mentored, studying the game. Then certainly last year, you know, I think, again, it's all about getting Kev healthy. I would argue if Kev was healthy the whole season, he would have been a deadlock for the all Big 12 freshman team. So the next step is consistency. The next step is, you know, turning himself into an all-conference player. And then the ultimate step will be to be a pro. And I agree with Kev that that's the plan, and it's a realistic plan that needs to be executed. In terms of leadership, absolutely. I mean, it starts with him having the experience of playing in this program before, executing, knowing the way we win, knowing the way that we defend the culture every day. So that's an obvious. We need our returners to be leaders. I think Kev has that personality. You know, everybody can't be Magic Johnson or Tim Tebow. You lead in different ways. Keenan Evans was a great leader in his way. Norrance was a great leader in his way. And I think with Kev, there's all sorts of ways because of his personality. He definitely could be one of those guys that is a vocal leader. But more importantly, it's just the way he approaches every day. It's the way he plays the games, the way he lives his life. It's the way he works. There's the inspiration to those that want to be led.
All right, we have time for two more questions. We'll go to Carlos and then we got Joe. Just one question each, guys, and then we'll hit you up again next week. Carlos.
Chris, I know they asked last week, but I don't know if you have any updates on McCullar's waiver status or anything. I'm sure, obviously, like I said.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know, Carlos. There's no way. I shouldn't say no way. Very, very, very slim chance. You know, about as slim as me going on Weight Watchers later today. That I'll answer that question when you guys ask it, because we'll give you that information as soon as we can. We'll show you guys that respect. I know it's a big story, and as soon as we possibly know, we'll put it out there. But as of today, we're still waiting.
All right, Joe, final question for today.
Coach, could you explain exactly what you mean by defend the culture?
Yeah, another thing, speaking of Weight Watchers, let me be clear here. I'm not against Weight Watchers. Like, actually, here's a little tidbit for you or anybody that might be listening. the Weight Watchers popsicle. Have you tried that, Carlos?
If not,
It's not a diet popsicle. It's legit. So I love things that are diet that don't taste like they're diet. Try the fudge popsicle Weight Watchers. Big fan. Um, Joe, your question was defend the culture. Yeah, like when you get somewhere, you have to build the culture. It takes time. It takes buy-in. Then eventually, you don't want to sit there and build it every year. And the guys that have been in this program, whether it's staff members, whether it's players, anybody that's been here before and that's benefited from the successes that this program has had and helps individuals, then you got to show up and you got to defend it every day. It's not a matter of whether we're going to have an unentitled locker room or whether we're going to have a mentally tough team or whether we're going to respect academics, whether we're going to be on time. We're not encouraging people to do this. We're defending it. It's a non-negotiable. So starting with those 7 players that were in our locker room last year, I think our whole coaching staff is back. So we've added a few pieces. But, yeah, the idea of defending the culture is what it's all about to me. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
It's been big for me. Just been grinding, sticking to the process, and feeling the healthiest I've ever felt in my life. So it's been going good.
for you compared to the first couple of off seasons where obviously like I'd mentioned you were limited. I guess what were some things that you weren't able to do compared to this season where you were able to do, and I guess how has that made you either better as a player or as a strength and conditioning standpoint?
I wasn't able, to hit the weight room as hard as I am now, and be out there every day, practicing and this and that. I'd miss some days, going to the training room and things like that. But now I'm doing good and being able to knock it out.
I know I'd spoken to you in high school. I guess so what weight did you come in at Texas Tech, and what weight are you now? And I guess do you feel like that's going to be your playing weight, or is there something a little bit higher that you've kind of set for yourself, or Coach Riley or the coaching staff has done for you?
Yeah, I came in here, I think, at like 180, 185 or something like that. I was real light, and now I'm up to 205. So, I'm just sticking in the range from 205 to 210 and just playing with that. So,
Last one for me, because I know other people got questions. I guess from your perspective, you've obviously been through a redshirt year and kind of some of these other kind of struggles through your journey. I guess how have you kind of seen Joel kind of embrace his redshirt year and what he's been able to do to kind of make himself ready to play this fall?
yeah, red shirt year, it's tough because you're sitting out and watching. And, I know he wanted his waiver last year so he could help us play. And, he's been, grinding every day, putting in the work, getting in the gym extra. And, he's going to have a good year this year.
We'll go to Ryan.
Hey, Kevin, just kind of going off what Carlos said, you added about 10 pounds this offseason. What do you feel like is going to be different for your game with that weight that you've added to your frame?
Just being able to bang around, be able to guard multiple positions on the defensive end, on the offensive end, just being stronger with the ball now and just things like that.
And then you were inserted into the starting lineup for the final 6 games of the season. What went through your head when you got that nod?
I was just ready to help the team win, whatever Coach Beard needed me to do to get in there and help us try to win some games, I was ready.
That's all, thanks.
Thank you.
Nathan?
Is there one area that you kind of try to focus on this offseason to expand your game even more?
Really, I just been working on my whole overall game on offense and defense. Just everything that a basketball player needs to improve on in the off season. And I've been watching a lot of film from last year, trying to learn from that a lot. So.
And Ryan kind of mentioned you came on pre-season went on. Was that you being more comfortable as the season went on? Was that more the playing time kind of playing into your strengths in that kind of area?
What was the question again? Sorry, it was like cutting out a little.
You kind of came on strong towards the end of the season. Was that because you had more opportunity? Was it because you were getting more comfortable out there?
I feel like, it's just, experience and just playing some and just building on it, every game being out there, you grow more and more. And now I'm looking forward to this year because, all the film I have from last year to learn from those mistakes and things that I did good and, and building on that.
And if there was one area that kind of kept you guys from finding some consistency, especially in Big 12 play, was there one area you think that you guys need to improve on more? And have you kind of seen that in the first week of practice?
Not really. I mean, we just need to, just stay together. Just execute game plans. And follow instructions and just keep working. I feel like, this year's team, we have the ability to be really special.
All right, back to
Kevin,
Carlos.
has your role schematically this year evolved or changed any from where it was last year? I mean, playing outside versus playing inside or anything like that?
I'm gonna just play, all over the floor. Do whatever we need to, really win. And it hasn't really changed. I'm gonna still do the little things and make plays on both offense and defense. So.
Okay, Carlos, one more question, let Kevin get out there.
So you said one more question?
Yeah,
is what
one
you
more.
said?
Yeah, one more.
Yes, sir. One more.
Oh, okay. I guess just for you, Kevin, just kind of going into this year, I know you came in as a freshman. I know you had that redshirt year, but what have you kind of seen from the guys that have come in, like Chibuzo or I guess just any of those guys? I guess what have you seen from them and their, I guess, mentality going into it, and what's helped them kind of be so successful so far?
They just came in here and they're working every day. They're sticking to it. They're listening to the older guys that have been here before, and we're doing our best, to lead by example and show them the way. And they're going to be a big pivotal piece to us winning the games this year.